I'm just Nick, and this is the Earthquaker Devices Speaker Cranker Overdrive. Here's the clean sound we're working with. What could be better? A friggin' pedal with one knob. And a knob that sounds good in all positions. So all you gotta do is plug into it, put the knob somewhere, or just leave it where it's at. It's an overdrive pedal. It's not a clean boost. One knob notwithstanding. By the way, that little noise it's making, that's normal. You know, some transistor-based devices. I'm just going to start talking about shit I don't know anything about, or might know something about, but not as much as I should know if I'm going to talk about them. Anyway, this is normal, okay? This is a low to medium gain overdrive pedal that has a very open and dynamic character to it. It does have a little bit of color, it does add a little bit of mid-range, and it does not get completely clean. I'll show you what I mean. Here's my clean sound again. When we add the pedal, it sounds bigger and pretty clean when I pick softly, but if I hit hard, you'll see there's a little bit of fuzz or a little bit of grit happening around the edges. As I come up, it very conveniently boosts volume just enough to keep pace with the increased compression that takes place whenever you're distorting or clipping a signal. So essentially, it maintains the same perceived volume in a mix, which I cannot tell you what a wonderful thing that is, because it can be very hard, especially in live situations with difficult stage sound or bad monitoring. It can be hard to tell in advance what your distorted signal or overdriven signal is going to sound like volume-wise in the mix. This pedal does the thinking for you. It increases its gain and the perceived volume in a very linear fashion, and it always seems to be at the right volume in the mix. So here it is at halfway. Very dynamic. I hate to say this kind of thing, but output tube-like overdrive character, which is to say dynamic and kind of big. And here it is at full bore. It begins to kind of fuzz up. A little bit like a fuzz, but also a little bit like a really cranked, I guess more Fender-style amplifier is the sound I would identify it with, but that's partly the guitar, which brings me to another point. Though this pedal imparts some character, it's not a whole lot. You can definitely tell which guitar you're playing, which amplifier you're plugged into, and perhaps most importantly, who's doing the playing. In other words, it does not heavily compress, it does not heavily color your tone in a way that's going to mask what you do. And to me, that's a good thing. I like it. This also means that it stacks very, very well with other distortion devices, both before other distortions to add additional gain and distortion, though remember there's no separate volume knob, so you can't use it as a clean boost. It's going to add its own distortion, but because it has an open and dynamic characteristic about it, it tends to push other devices well without making things sound muddy or too compressed. I've used it that way, I swear. and it's awesome. I like it even better after higher gain distortion devices, where you might normally put a clean boost for solos, but it adds additional distortion and a little bit of volume and a kind of brightness and bigness that is really, really pleasing without, again, mushing out on the low end or creating a totally different tonal signature. It's this strange kind of perfect mixture that of a low to medium gain distortion and a little bit of EQ and a little bit of volume boost all comes together for dumbasses like me with one knob. And it says to me that somebody is designing pedals by listening, not being driven by perceived market demand and feature sets, though I'm sure those things have to figure into any pedal designer's thoughts, but that what is being put at the center of the process is the sound and the music. Speaker Cranker. Get a hold of folks at Rock and Roll Vintage, and they will take care of you. Till next time.